Hey, what's up, guys? This is Draco. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys for joining me again. I just got a tattoo a couple weeks ago, so I kind of got the itch back again. I got it at Bob Roberts' place, which is a Spotlight Tattoo on Melrose. It was just kind of one of those spots where I wanted to get, before it closed down or it moved. Because Spotlight, if you guys know about tattoos, Bob Roberts is pretty iconic in the tattoo community. He did, a lot of the rock stars in the 80s and 90s. He's the one that designed the cat for the Stray Cats logo. He did a lot of work with Ed Hardy. They collaborated and learned from each other. And, he was part of those pioneers back in the late 70s, 80s. Him and Ed Hardy would go visit Charlie Cartwright and Jack Rudy out in Good Time Charlie's in East LA, and it was a great collaboration. So it's pretty cool that I got this at a spot. I don't think he tattoos anymore. I think he just paints. So I couldn't get him to do it, which he's on like one of my priorities or top list of tattoo artists that I would love to get tattooed by. Most of the guys are like already in their 70s, all the iconic tattoo artists. I kind of still have a little bit of space. I have sleeves. I don't know if you could see that, but I have a koi fish kind of sleeves on my fingers. I got these at a tattoo expo like in 2003 or 4. He redid it twice. You probably can't see it from the video. He redid it twice, but it just kind of hurts a lot. So I just kind of dealt with it. I'm going to leave it just the way it is. But it's kind of cool because it's a cool memory. It was the first time somebody outside of the States tattooed me. So that's definitely was a cool little treat. Just getting back to it, with everything that's going on. I just kind of love the community a lot more, knowing the history of it, the way that, the single line tattooing that Freddy Negrete, Jack Rudy, Charlie Cartwright were doing at a Good Time Charlie's in East LA. Guys like Ed Hardy and Bob Roberts and all these cats, they never really seen anything like it, because these guys were coming from Long Beach, which is like 15 or 20 minutes from here. That's a really iconic city for like tattoos, Ed Hardy and even Charlie Cartwright and Sailor Jerry and all these guys, they're used to tattooing like American traditional stuff. And then when Charlie Cartwright and Jack Rudy decided to open up a Good Time Charlie's in East LA, all the homies from East LA, all these guys that were getting locked up, they're getting a lot of like the black and gray kind of stuff like this, single needle stuff with a guitar string in jail. And that's what was the thing, black and gray. It's black and gray because they didn't have access to colors. Very limited colors in prison. So most of these guys got black and gray tattoos. When Freddy Negrete joined the crew and started doing his thing, it just kind of, they made a mark in the tattoo world. And when Ed Hardy, Bob Roberts, and all these other guys, got word of what they were doing, they came together and fed off each other, to create what tattoos are now. And I don't know. I don't really talk to a lot of young tattoo artists or people that have been doing it for a little bit of time. So I don't even know if these guys even know the history sometimes, It's kind of like music, you play music and you don't know if these guys that are recording on their laptops, putting up on SoundCloud, do they even understand like the history of electronic music or where music came from. I don't know if tattoo artists are the same way, where they study the history or they just don't care about that stuff, because there's a lot of tattoo artists right now. There's tattoo artists and then there's tattoo artists, One of my top guys that I want to get tattooed is Philip Liu out in Switzerland. It's just I get the itch so bad for tattoos that I don't know if hopefully by the time I get to him, I still have some room for him. But just, I think the U.S. could learn from this, from the tattoo community, even though sometimes we're still looked at as a bunch of misfits and a bunch of, people that aren't going to be able to get a good job. The stigma's still there. I have judgment issues with certain people that are older generation that still kind of look at me like I'm wasting my life, even though I got a stable job and I have a hustle that lets me live the life that I want. But to them, it's still like taboo. But what those guys were able to do to combine all these different, it didn't matter what color you were. And that's where I'm trying to get with this video is the U.S. could learn something from the tattoo world, from all these misfits and lowlifes. The way they came together, no matter if you're white or brown, like Freddy Negrete and all these other cats, everybody came together for the tattoo world to evolve. And if it was this whole the whites and the browns and the blacks and all this stuff that's going on, if everybody just stood in their own section and didn't collaborate with each other, I don't think that tattoos would be where they're at right now. It required those different influences to just kind of come together for the art. And I feel like that's a really important lesson, man. Especially like in our community, man. I hear people get upset with when people go down to Mexico and maybe they start like taco trucks when they learn everything from Mexico and they're not Mexican. People get upset that they're biting the culture for profit. All these guys that have tequila companies that come and they open up their own tequila company, like all these guys, you know, people get upset by them, and I understand that point. You know, it's, you got to do it, but you got to do it with respect or stay true to the tradition. And I think that's where people get upset, but everybody does it. Like in Mexico, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with tacos al pastor. The al pastor came to Mexico from the Lebanese community. They brought that specific cut and that seasoned type beef to Mexico from Lebanon, and then the Mexicans just kind of took it and created what it is now as al pastor, and you need that fusion, you know. And that's why I love the tattoo community so much, is because we're all a bunch of misfits that you know, when you see somebody walking down the street and they're heavily tattooed, and you kind of give a what's up, you know, because you know what this person's been through. But just knowing the history of tattooing and how it's evolved from all these different cultures coming together. I mean, what Ed Hardy was able to do when, you know, he went out with Horiyoshi and kind of saw the way these guys were doing Japanese traditional tattoos, and then that fusion, that the Japanese tattoos with the Americana traditional kind of tattoo stuff, like the stuff that Ed Hardy's known for, that just completely revolutionized the industry, and that fuels creativity. You know, when you see somebody mashing things together, it's contagious, and it starts like, you know, like a ripple effect. And I feel like right now everybody's so stuck in their corner. You know, you can't bite off people because, you know, it's not appropriate. And I don't know if that's good for innovation. I think that especially in a country like the US, that, you know, I'm half Native American, so everybody's an immigrant here, you know, whether you want to think or believe it, everybody's an immigrant. The reason that the States is what it is as far as food, culture, music, is because of, you know, all the different influences that come in and create something artistic that fuels innovation. You know, a lot of people talk about the impact that the Black community had on music. It's massive, but you cannot have that debate without acknowledging the Native American influence on American music, even blues. You know, if you hear a lot of guys like Howlin' Wolf and, you know, a lot of the older cats, they talk about Indian man and the red man, you know, that taught them how to play guitar. And the problem with the Native American community is that they were afraid to say that they were Native American. So a lot of them pretended to be white just to kind of navigate through. But, you know, in the early 1900s, the U.S. banned the use of drums, so the Native Americans couldn't use it to create music. So they adapted those rhythms into a guitar, and then with the Black slave community that was here, they collaborated, and you know, blues was created, and it was everybody working together for something. You know, you can't have innovation without including people, and I feel like that's something that this country lacks right now. Is they lack people, different cultures coming together for one sole purpose. That's just kind of what I wanted to rant about. Just feel like I'm starting to rant, so I'm gonna end this video now. Please comment, subscribe, share, and let me know what you guys think of this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.